Welcome, everyone, to Season 2, Episode 3 of the Fire Emblem Podcast. I'm Blazer, and this is Shu. Shu, my man, what are we talking about today?
Today, my friend, we were talking about hacking, Fire Emblem hacks.
Hacking, what's that?
Shut up. You know perfectly well what I'm talking about.
You mean you mean the more politically correct term modding, correct?
Modding, I guess.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Of course. Because being the politically correct people that we are,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
especially myself.
Oh, really?
yeah, right. So lead us on, Shu.
Well, I mean, if you know, or if you don't know, hacking is kind of a big part of what, would you say that hacking is a big part of the Fire Emblem community?
Well,
Online, at least?
Well, if I had to ask my friend Shu, I'm sure that if he were going to finish what he was going to say, he would say that Fire Emblem is indeed, or hacking is indeed, a big part of the Fire Emblem community.
It is.
Yes.
There's obviously, I think at any given moment, probably a great number of hacks in the works. Blazer here is the creator of one of the more renowned ones, known as The Last Promise, previously known as some other garbage that I don't care about. Tactics Universe.
We're going to previous names on the down low, all right? Anyhow, the first promise, the last promise, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's a hack, right? But I'm pretty much over with. So now I'm kind of just watching the other hacks, and as usual, about 95% of them are bad. But given that there's dozens of them at any time, thankfully that does mean that there are 2 or 3 good hacks here and there, right?
Mm-hmm. So 2 or 3 good hacks. What any of them that you have your eye on right now?
Yeah, actually, I do have a couple on my eye. I might need you to look up one of the names. The first one I'm going to mention, honorable mention to Death or Glory. First and foremost, it actually has patches being released, which might not sound like a big deal, but like hackers are hella lazy, and they do not. they don't. The biggest problem is that they don't release anything. They'll have an update like once every year on average, and sometimes it's a small update. And there are times where they'll go without updates for months at a time, and it's just like so dull. Like I don't know. I just prefer to hear more, even if it's kind of not like the greatest update ever. I feel like hackers should stick to their project a little bit more instead of taking like 6 months breaks every week.
Definitely. And I'm looking at the page, the thread for it on FVS right now, and these screenshots all look solid, look very good. You can kind of tell the quality of a hack by at least you can get a good initial idea of how much investment is going into it by the screenshots. You can tell if they're still using maps from like Fire Emblem 7 or Fire Emblem 8. They're probably not, super far down the assembly line, so to speak.
Oh yeah, for sure. And actually, we have within the hacking community, we have some terms that kind of classify hacks. I know some people have even gone to classify them into like 10, 15 different types. I'm like, that's kind of overkill. But pretty much we have reskins, which we call hacks that, like as you said, don't change the maps. So for instance, let's say you like change Fire Emblem and you're like every other guy out there, and you want to like make your own character and put him in the hack and replace Elliewood because no one likes Elliewood, right?
All right.
So you're like, all right, dude, I'm about to replace Elliewood, and me and Hector are about to go have a ball. So you go replace Elliewood, but every other thing about the game is the same. So what's the deal with that? We call that a reskin, and the idea is that like the core of the hack is the same. You're just kind of changing the skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like full custom hacks or vanilla hacks or whatever you want to call them, and that's where it changes like everything. It changes the maps, the music, the characters, all that stuff. And a lot of times it's like a new Fire Emblem game. And when I say new Fire Emblem game, what I really mean is like another one of the GBA games, kind of, because it still all plays like Fire Emblem, right?
It's the same core engine. It's just completely edited.
Yeah, right. But you have the custom stories and custom portraits and characters, whatever, and it's still fun. People manage to throw in their own twist.
Yep.
Like I'll throw out some props to Olympian Knights, an FE7 hack, a sequel to FE7, takes place between like FE7, FE6, kind of fills in some of the gaps, what have you. Anyhow, like that throws in some gameplay twists. So it's not exactly like Fire Emblem, it's definitely worth playing, at least once.
Yep.
So that's nice. And Death or Glory, from what I've seen, is one of these newer, more ambitious hacks.
Yeah.
And I definitely appreciate that. Nowadays, you kind of have to be ambitious to stick out. Like back in the day, you could just be like, you could like do reskins and you could still get a lot of attention. And people were like, whoa, this is the coolest thing. Like, there's cloud in this hack. All right, cool. Like, I love Final Fantasy too, but that only goes so far.
It's true. Yeah, looking at the Death or Glory thread, like I said, and one thing that surprised me about this particular hack for how successful it's been, it's kind of, so correct me if I'm wrong. Is the head of the hack NYZ Gamer?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Well,
I was surprised because I had never heard of him before. I mean, I've been in, I guess you could say I've been in this community for about 6 years, and I've never heard of this guy. And I mean, the other people on the credit list, a lot of more well-known names, particularly from Serenite's Forest, Mage Knight 404, Blind Archer, Clock, Kitty of Time, Fuzz.
sure. And a lot of those people are people who've like, like for instance, like the Blind Archer is credited in a lot of hacks for his animations that people use.
Yep.
Or like other small stuff like that. But yeah, NYZ Gamer, he's not like like one of those maybe huge hacking figures.
Oh, I never heard of him.
Right, but that being said, he's just one of the people who takes all the knowledge and he makes use of it and he puts it into the game. And I actually have a lot of appreciation for that because for all the knowledge that's out there, like how many people actually make hacks? Like for instance, look at Zeld, Nintendo, all these other people who like developed the hacking scene, what have you. They don't really have their own huge projects. I mean, Nintendo had one, but he gave up on it. A lot of other people also gave up on the projects. So I appreciate someone who can kind of focus on just making a hack and making a good hack.
Yeah, no, I mean, like Zelda and Nintendo Lord, I feel like these are kind of the old breed that sort of they paved the way for a lot of the people that are making hacks today. That what make these full conversions possible. Like you said, that back in the day, it was just sort of impressive to insert, your own characters and to change the text, that kind of thing. But now it's like, well, if you're doing a reskin, you're sort of a kind of a beta. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're kind of a punk. But if you're going super ambitious, then hey, that's worth some props.
Yeah, man, totally. And on the note of the other hack I was going to mention, this hack doesn't have a patch out as far as I remember, but it's called, I think, Midnight Sun or Son of Midnight. It should be on Serena's Forest or Serene's Forest, whatever you want to freaking call it.
Right.
It's an FE8 hack from what I remember, and it's got some nice graphics, and it just gets a little extra props for just being FE8 because everyone who knows anything about hacking knows FE8 is like totally hard to hack, and no one does it. And it's not that like the people who paved the way to hacking didn't put any effort. It's just that we didn't put as much effort, and a lot of like the small things are missing between FE7 and FE8 hacking. So I'm not going to go too into detail about that. I could have like a whole session on like why FE8 hacking is like a terrible idea for people. But yeah, he gets props just for hacking FE8, and it's looking nice so far. Actually, the portrait artist is Arc Falcon, who also did the portraits for The Last Promise. Some of the portraits for The Last Promise.
Nice. Yeah, see, I'm looking at these screenshots for Midnight Sun, and I'm really digging the conversion on the character cards, or whatever they're called. With all the stats and stuff.
Oh yeah. That looks really nice as well.
I'm really liking that.
Yeah, I wish I could do that. I'm actually that definitely takes some talent. But that being said, he's not neglecting the story and the gameplay parts of the game, totally in favor of graphics. Because graphics are always nice, but after looking at them, so many times, they kind of get bored. You just kind of like phase them out. You just want to like when I go to the stat screen, all I see nowadays is the numbers, right? I'm just like, all right, does he have enough speed to double that dude over there? So graphics are always a nice, fresh change of pace or whatever. But definitely don't neglect the gameplay or the story or the music in a hack. Especially because that stuff is like the story is constantly, developing. Don't do
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I definitely agree with what you're saying because one thing I think that a lot of, I mean, I guess noob hackers, I guess is what you'd call them, what they neglect is, like you said, they're not fleshing out the story. They care more about the fact that they're too engrossed in the fact that I'm editing Fire Emblem and I'm gonna make this game so fun to play because you get to be a soldier and you can't do that in the Game Boy game. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, what's going to keep them playing? Because I mean, a lot of the people that are going to be playing these hacks have played other hacks before. You got to be on top of your game if you want to stand out, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's fine for newer hackers to kind of fool around and see what you can do at first. I think that's totally fine, but don't like expect to be like really popular and have everyone playing your hack and everything just because you like made a few changes, whatever. And it really comes down to how ambitious you are and what you're expecting. But when I started hacking, I wasn't really looking for everyone to you know. Play my hack and whatever. I was just kind of doing it because it was fun, and then eventually I was like, oh, there's so many other cool things I could do. And then other people, as I just put effort into it naturally, other people started to care about it. If that makes sense, right? So
Yeah,
if you just work hard yourself, you don't have to be a tryhard to have people play your hack and tell you what you can improve on or tell you it's good or whatever.
it's true. On the note of we're talking about hacks, there's actually another hack in the works in a very early stage of development, despite being around for about a couple years. It seems like the Farm Shrine Forum hack, initially known as Immortal Shrine, and recently had its name changed to Hearts of Strife, but it's not public yet. But
It is now.
whatever. It is now. So yeah, that's a hack that some people from FES are working on currently. Like I said, it's in the early stages right now. At this point, it's me, Scrimsax, Matt Snow, uh, who else? Gast, Gast Station, is that what his name is? And
Yeah,
Noel, yeah.
no.
And
Pretty
Smash Fish.
Yeah, so pretty much for those of you who are like, dude, I have no idea who the fuck these guys are. Pretty much just a bunch of chumps from Fire Emblem Shrine.
That's a good way to describe him.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
when
was
you
that?
guys when you guys release a patch, I'll take back my word on season 2, episode 3. I'll change it to something more honorable.
Maybe like scumbags, something like that.
Yeah.
That's better. Yeah. No,
Um,
I mean definitely.
No, but I appreciate the effort, and you guys are moving in a positive direction, which is more than we can say with than a lot of hacks that are either moving in a negative direction or aren't moving at all.
Right.
Um, Usually one of the two. Yeah, it's actually hard to complain about hacking when there's so little progress in some hacks.
It's true. It's true. It's like I mean, comparatively, we're doing great.
Right.
But even though we don't have any patches or screenshots out, but they are coming. Let me tell you, we are making progress. It was slowed down a little bit by the holidays, but we will be on track
Oh,
shortly.
because I mean, who goes to school or pays attention, right?
No, come on.
It's the
You gotta spend all
holiday.
your time doing hacks. Come on. If you go to school, you're a loser.
It's the opposite of what you'd expect. You'd be like, "Oh, dude, holidays, we're gonna have so much free time, right?" But it's like, nope, everyone's busy on holidays. And then it's like the school year. It's like, oh man, everyone's busy studying for school. It's like, nope, we're all making hacks.
Yeah, no, but I mean, on the topic of Hearts of Strife, I might do a podcast with some of the people from that project during one of the weeks in this season, possibly, potentially. Don't hold me to it. Um, but I mean, I can really speak from the writing side because I don't know if you know this. I don't really know how to hack. I don't know how to do a whole lot, even though I really should learn. I have the ultimate tutorial on a bookmark. I don't even just don't even look at it. But yeah, really, what we're I guess as far as I mean from a writing perspective, the goal of the game is to try to break a lot of the tropes that are awfully prevalent in the Fire Emblem series. I know we talked a little bit about that in the plot podcast we did that was released 2 weeks ago.
It's all about plot.
It's all about plot. That was the name of that episode. Yeah, like, because if you don't know the history of the Fire Emblem Shrine forum hack, Immortal Shrine, it had been around for. When did that start, Blazer?
It's just probably been like a year and a half, like you said, maybe a little bit more, edging on 2 years.
Probably. But it was around for a long time and hardly made any progress. It was around for, like you said, a year and a half. No patches released. I don't think there was a. Wait, was there a patch released? I don't think there was.
No, nothing, dude. It was all just theory and
No,
ideas.
it's theory, and I had its own subforum, so just a bunch of guys making a lot of bad decisions and arguing over things, and eventually, pretty much all of them quit, almost, and the project was dead.
But then hold on. I want to do the part with the joke about a certain sea creature. If you get my drift, too.
Go for it.
You keep going for now.
But yeah. So the only person that really stayed on the project was a guy by the name of Smash Fish, who was the initial leader of the project. And he had a lot of, I guess, real life things that were going on. So that he couldn't really be online very often. So the project was really not going anywhere. There were still a bunch of guys in the Skype chat that was created to spur the progress along. And I happen to be in one of them because I said that I contribute dialogue, but I never did. So one time, there was this one day when I went over there, and it was Max, Snow, Nolan, and Scrimsax were just talking about some stuff and about different plot ideas that they were having, totally in a theoretical sense. We're just talking about plot because they thought it was fun. And I came in, I'm like, hey, what if we just throw out everything that was in the hack initially, and then try to redo it from scratch? And then they were like, "This is a great idea," and that's where we're at now. Now we're that was a few weeks ago. That was in December, and now we have a prologue to Chapter 4 patch planned, and we have a few chapters written. We almost have the entire patch written at this point in time, and the first couple. I don't know what the progress is on the hacking side, but it is moving along. I promise you. So hopefully that will be out in the near future. Quarter 1.
And in the middle, sometime there was a bit of change. Since organization in a team hack, you got to have some level of teamwork, coordination, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
It's hard to get along with a bunch of dudes on the internet. We all come from different backgrounds and whatever. So, a certain, who's the leader? You said Smash Fish, right?
Yep.
So he was kind of leader, but as you said, he wasn't really around. And, it's just as a matter of getting the thing going, they had to make some organization changes, and Smash Fish was, to say the least, he got schooled.
Schooled? Yeah. Fish. Yeah, we sort of hijacked the whole thing, didn't we?
I wouldn't say that. I would just say that, and he. I mean, it's not like he's removed from the project entirely.
No.
But I think people have to be willing to kind of see to others and work together well in a project like that. And I think saying Smash, you aren't really here to lead us, so we're gonna kind of like take things into our own hands. I wouldn't say you like snatched it away from him.
No, definitely. We weren't. That was not our goal. We just wanted to get it moving in a direction that would actually end up having it see the light of day, because like we mentioned, had not had like a patch or screenshots in like about a bazillion years or ever.
Yeah, so. Right. But my whole point behind Fat Fish getting smashed was that ultimately you gotta be kind of flexible with the group, or otherwise the efforts are gonna die. So like once upon a time I was in a forum hack and people didn't do crap either. And I kind of had to take things into my own hands too. And there are like other like team efforts, even if they're not forum hacks. Like Dream of Five was a team effort. Serenus Emblem, the Serenus Forest hack, was also a team effort. Ultimately, those hacks tend to die unless somebody like really kind of like takes the initiative, to say the least. So my whole point behind this is, if you are going to do a forum hack, be careful and be willing to take the initiative, and don't just let things like die down and slip away.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of maybe I don't know if this was the case with Fish, but I bet it's the case with a lot of these kinds of hacks is that people just sort of have that mentality that you had in the later years of high school where you're just like, I'll do it. I'm sure I'll get around to doing my homework at some point. I'm sure I'll get around to
See,
hacking this project eventually. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Definitely.
It's like the hacking version of senioritis. I don't know
The hacking version of
that
senioritis.
hackitis.
Yeah. Should we call it blazeritis?
The problem is most people are just chock full of ideas. They don't actually want to like do anything to implement them.
It's true.
I can't really blame them. I love making ideas too, but eventually you got to be like, all right, we just got to do this. We just got to like, it's just like studying for an exam. You just at some point you just got to hit the books and do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As much as you might hate it, or as much as you might lament the actual work part, you know,
Right.
the idea of doing well on this test sounds great, but I don't want to do the work. Man, I know that feeling too well.
Yeah, don't we all? I had the hardest time. All right, I think we're running up on time here.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That was a fun little talk about hacking, and I'm sure there's lots more we could talk, old hacks and new hacks alike.
Yeah, we might revisit this topic at some point, possibly. Again, don't hold me to that.
All right, I'm going to give 30 seconds to Project M, which we talked about last week. I took the time out to install it and play it. It is really easy to install. Also, Roy's a total beast. If you play Roy on level 9 CPU, he will totally freaking whoop your ass.
Oh, really?
Now, he comboed the crap out of me, and like part of it was because I was like, oh my god, it's Roy. I was like so in awe that I couldn't react well. But the other part is that like the AI is like legitimately more difficult, at least in terms of comboing and stuff. But yeah, Roy, he's got some new moves too. It's a lot like Melee, but he's got a few new moves. So I'm not going to spoil too much, but definitely check that out. It's worth it. Oh yeah, and if you want to stay up to date on the latest hacking news, follow our Twitter. This is not shameless advertisement. I'm trying to enlighten you all on the hacking scene. I know you guys just want to, always follow the latest hacks. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it. So we will catch you guys next week when we talk about something. I don't know.
It's Fire Emblem. I don't know how long we can keep this up.
All right.
Peace out.